Hey everyone, and welcome to our deep dive into Voem.
Voem.
It's pronounced Voem.
Boom. Okay.
Yeah, and we've got so much to cover. We've got a ton of internal documents to get through, and it really gives us like this amazing behind-the-scenes look at how this organization works. And
Yeah.
um, there's 35 years of history here, evolving to meet like the changing needs of Flanders, really.
It's incredible how they've managed to stay relevant
Right.
for so long.
Yeah.
Voem started as a much more traditional kind of ethnocultural federation,
Yeah.
but they've really become something different. They've embraced this
Yeah.
dynamic hybrid model.
It's like they've combined the best parts of like a cultural fund, an arts council, even an international network.
Yeah.
It's really something else.
It's a fascinating blend.
It is. It is. And I think what's so interesting is they're not just focused on like preserving the past.
Right.
They're actively looking ahead. They're analyzing trends like super diversity and digitalization.
Polarization.
Yeah, big things that are shaping the world today.
Absolutely. And they're really not shying away from like digging deep into those trends.
Right.
Like, for example, when they talk about super diversity, they're not just saying,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, there's a growing number of nationalities
Yeah.
and backgrounds in Flanders. They're actually reflecting that within their own organization.
That's right.
Over 50 different nationalities amongst their volunteers.
That's incredible. Yeah, it's not just talk, it's action.
Exactly.
It really is walking the walk.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes you wonder, like, how do they actually address these trends in their work?
Right.
What does it look like on the ground?
Well, let's take digitalization as an example.
Okay.
I mean, we've all seen how COVID-19 really
Yeah.
accelerated that move online, and Voem really saw that as an opportunity.
Okay.
They actually created DiverzCity in the metaverse.
What?
Yeah, a virtual space where they hold events and,
Well,
collaborate and even have their own remote office.
wait.
Yeah.
They have a remote office in the metaverse?
Yeah.
I mean, I know some experts believe the metaverse is like
Yeah.
the future of online interaction, but Voem is already there.
They're ahead of the curve.
That's amazing. Okay, so we've got super diversity, digitalization,
Polarization.
which I feel like is just everywhere these days.
It is a real concern.
Yep.
And Voem is tackling it head on.
Okay, how so?
Well, they have this podcast called We Need to Talk About It,
Okay.
where they just dive into these really controversial topics and encourage, respectful dialogue.
Oh, I like that.
And then they have Beyond the Lines,
Okay.
which is their platform for street art that uses visual expression to address societal issues.
Oh, that's cool.
It's like they're finding all these creative ways to just get people talking and thinking critically.
It's about meeting people where they are.
Well, absolutely.
Like using mediums that resonate with younger audiences who are online
Yeah.
and engaging with art in different ways.
Yeah, totally. And they're doing this against a backdrop of some pretty alarming trends.
Okay, like what?
Well, research actually shows a sharp increase in harmful online speech in recent years. And Voem is really trying to be this counterforce to that negativity and foster constructive conversation instead.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got super diversity, digitalization, polarization. What about sustainability?
Right. Well, they're addressing it on multiple levels, environmentally, of course.
Yeah.
But also in terms of fostering those lasting relationships
Yeah.
and building a more sustainable future.
One of the things that really stood out to me in these documents was their Veggie is Halal initiative.
Oh, yeah.
And I just want to clarify for our listeners, it's not veggie halal food, it's Veggie is Halal.
Right.
So they're promoting this delicious vegetarian world cuisine.
That's great.
It's just this really cool way, I think, to connect cultural exchange with sustainable food choices.
Yeah.
Especially with this growing interest in plant-based diets.
It's very timely.
Yeah.
And again, it just speaks to their commitment to inclusivity.
Yeah.
Like finding ways to bring different communities together
Yeah.
around shared values.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not just responding to these massive societal shifts, it's woven into everything they do.
It's like their DNA.
Yeah. And to really understand Voem's impact,
Yeah.
I think we need to go deeper
Absolutely.
than just their activities.
Yeah.
We need to look at the mission and vision that guides everything they do.
Right. It's the foundation upon which all of their initiatives are built.
It is. All right, let's get to the heart of what makes Voem tick.
Let's do it. So Voem's mission, it's really all about connecting people through the power of art, cultural heritage, and social engagement.
Yeah.
They're working towards a world where these things aren't separate, but intertwined,
Yeah.
really enriching our lives and fostering a more vibrant and inclusive society.
I love it. It's such a beautiful vision. And
Mm.
what really stood out to me were their core values: inclusivity, engagement, innovation, and being critically constructive.
It's not just lip service.
No, they're woven into everything they do.
Exactly, yeah.
So let's break that down a little bit.
Okay.
Inclusivity, for Voem, means creating spaces where everyone feels welcome and valued, regardless of background.
Right, and it's reflected in their efforts to reach those smaller towns and municipalities,
Yes.
places that might not have the same access to these diverse cultural experiences as like a big city would.
I hadn't really considered that.
Yeah,
The lack of diverse leisure opportunities in smaller communities.
right.
But it makes so much sense.
Yeah, and Voem is stepping in to fill that void,
Yeah,
making sure that everyone has a chance to connect with different cultures and perspectives.
absolutely. And that commitment to inclusivity extends to their digital spaces, too.
Yes.
Right? Making
Yeah.
sure their metaverse platform and online resources are accessible.
To everyone, yeah.
So it's about breaking down barriers, both physical and digital.
Absolutely.
What about engagement? How does that play out?
Well, for Voem, engagement means fostering active participation,
Yeah.
empowering people to contribute their talents and ideas.
Yeah.
They're really big on co-creation, involving volunteers and artists and shaping their initiatives. It's a bottom-up approach, not top-down.
It just makes their work feel so much more authentic.
Totally.
It's not just Voem dictating what culture should look like, right?
Yeah.
It's a collaborative effort.
Yeah,
It's a true reflection of the community.
exactly. And that brings us to innovation.
Okay.
Voem is not afraid to embrace new technologies and approaches,
Right.
always looking for creative solutions to these social challenges.
Like we see with their use of the metaverse.
Exactly, and their exploration of AI,
Yeah.
they're not just following trends, they're shaping them.
Yeah, they have this experimental spirit, a willingness to just push those boundaries and see what's possible,
Absolutely.
which leads us to critically constructive.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Right. What does that mean in practice?
Well, it's about encouraging critical thinking and open dialogue, even when it comes to those really sensitive topics.
Yeah.
Voem believes in fostering this culture of nuanced perspectives
Yeah.
where people can respectfully disagree and
Yeah.
learn from each other.
It's so important, especially in today's world.
It is. It's so easy to get caught up in those echo chambers and polarized debates.
Yes.
But Voem is providing a space for something different, a space for thoughtful discussion and understanding.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so we see how these four values, inclusivity, engagement, innovation, and being critically constructive, really form the bedrock of Voem's work.
It's not just like
Yeah.
some abstract ideal.
No.
They're guiding principles that shape their actions.
It's inspiring to see an organization living their values so intentionally.
Yeah.
But how does this all translate into concrete action?
Right.
They've identified these three main roles they play: connector, laboratory, and social changer.
Yeah.
Can you elaborate on those a bit?
Sure. So as a connector, Voem brings people together from different backgrounds,
Okay.
creates opportunities for cross-cultural exchange and collaboration.
Yeah.
Their Veggie is Halal initiative is a perfect example of this.
I love that initiative.
Yeah.
I love how they've managed to bridge these seemingly disparate worlds, bringing together the vegetarian scene with Middle Eastern cuisine,
Yeah.
all under this banner of sustainability and delicious food.
It's brilliant.
It is. Okay. Now, their laboratory role is all about experimenting with innovative approaches to social issues.
Yes.
So think DiverzCity in the metaverse,
Right.
or their exploration of AI. They're testing new ideas, challenging conventions,
Seeing what works.
and they're not afraid to take risks and push the boundaries,
Right.
which is so refreshing. Okay, what about social changers? How do they see themselves in that role?
Well, Voem really wants to create that ripple effect,
Okay.
influencing societal attitudes and behaviors for the better. They're advocating for a more inclusive and sustainable future, and they're using their platform to inspire others to get involved
Yeah.
and make a difference.
It's a powerful vision.
It is.
So we've got these roles, we've got these values, but what are the specific goals and activities that bring it all to life?
Right.
How does Voem translate their mission into tangible action?
Well, they've outlined 7 core practices that drive their work forward.
Yep.
These practices encompass a wide range of initiatives, each with its own unique focus and target audience.
Okay.
It's quite impressive, actually.
All right, I'm ready to dive in. Tell me more about these 7 practices.
Okay.
What are they, and what kind of impact are they hoping to achieve? The 7 in core practices. So it sounds like they have their hands full. What are some of the highlights?
Well, we've already talked about veggie is halal,
Yeah.
which is a perfect example of how they're intertwining that cultural exchange with sustainability.
Yeah.
And then they have Yella
Yeah.
Worldwide, which is a platform showcasing contemporary music from the Middle East,
Interesting.
really blending those traditional sounds with more modern electronic beats.
Oh, wow. I love how they're using music as this bridge between cultures. It's just such a powerful way to connect with people.
It is.
Okay, so veggie is halal. Yalla. Worldwide.
And then, of course, we need to talk about it.
Right.
Their
Yeah.
podcast and dialogue series that tackles those difficult, polarizing topics.
Yes, they're really trying to create that space for nuanced conversations and bridge those divides.
Exactly.
It's so important, especially in our current climate. So what else is on the list?
Well, they have Beyond the Lines, which uses street art
Okay.
as a form of social commentary and engagement.
Okay.
It's a way to bring art into those public spaces and spark conversations about important issues.
Yeah, street art can be so powerful.
It can.
It can really challenge your perspective
Absolutely.
and make you see the world in a new way.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about the other 3 practices?
Okay, so they have the Emancipation Prize.
Okay.
Which is an annual award that recognizes individuals and organizations
Oh, wow.
who are working to promote super diversity, sustainability, and counterpolarization.
That's fantastic.
It's a way to shine a light on those positive changemakers and inspire others to take action.
I love that. It sounds like Voem is really committed to recognizing and supporting those efforts.
They are.
Okay, what about the last 2?
Well, then there's international partnerships.
Mm-hmm.
So Voem is collaborating with organizations around the world
Okay.
to exchange ideas, share best practices, and really expand their impact beyond Flanders.
It makes sense to think globally, especially when it comes to issues like super diversity and sustainability.
Right.
We're all interconnected, and it seems like Voem really recognizes that.
Absolutely.
Okay, and the last one.
Last but not least, there are their prison programs.
Okay.
So they offer these creative workshops and personal growth opportunities to
Right.
those who are incarcerated, really fostering a sense of hope and possibility.
That's amazing. It's a real testament to their commitment to inclusivity, reaching out to those who are often marginalized and forgotten.
Yeah.
It's really impressive. But with such a diverse portfolio of activities, I have
Yeah.
to wonder, how do they manage it all financially? I mean, these initiatives must require significant resources.
You're right. And sustainability isn't just about environmental impact. It's about financial stability as well.
Yeah.
And Voem has this really multifaceted approach to funding their work, which is crucial for their long-term success.
All right, well, let's talk money then.
Okay.
How do they keep the lights on and all these programs running?
Well, they rely on a mix of subsidies, covenants, and revenue generated from their own activities. It's a smart strategy that allows them to diversify their income.
So they're not just waiting for handouts. They're taking initiative and creating their own revenue streams.
Exactly, and their projected budget for the next 5 years shows steady growth in funding. The largest expenditure is personnel costs, which makes sense.
Yeah.
They're investing in their people, recognizing that a skilled and dedicated team is essential for achieving those goals.
And they're even planning to expand their staff over the next few years.
Yeah,
That shows real commitment to their work and their employees.
it does.
Okay, so what about those revenue streams?
Well, when it comes to generating their own income, Voem's getting pretty creative.
Okay.
They're exploring consultancy work, offering team-building activities, even renting out virtual spaces in their metaverse.
Wow.
They're really leveraging their expertise and resources to generate income in innovative ways.
It's like a social enterprise model.
Yeah.
They're creating a positive social impact
Yeah.
while also generating revenue to support their mission.
Exactly.
Really cool.
And throughout all of this, they're really committed to transparency and accountability.
Okay.
They use analytical accounting, conduct regular financial reviews, and they have a dedicated finance and admin team to ensure responsible financial management.
That's really reassuring.
Oh,
It shows they're being good stewards of the resources entrusted to them,
right.
whether those resources are coming from government subsidies or their own entrepreneurial efforts.
Yeah.
What else?
Well, they're also exploring how AI can be used to optimize their financial processes.
Interesting.
It seems like they're always looking for ways to innovate and improve, even when it comes to the less glamorous side of running an organization.
Yeah, it's impressive, really. They're thinking strategically about every aspect of their work.
They are.
But despite their efforts to diversify their income, they're also advocating for increased funding from the Flemish government, right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
They recognize that to fully realize their ambitious goals
Yeah.
and expand their impact, they need additional support.
Mhm.
And they're making a strong case for investment, highlighting their track record of success
Right.
and their potential to contribute even more to Flemish society.
It sounds like they're walking that delicate balance between self-sufficiency
Mm.
and advocating for the resources they need to truly thrive.
Yeah, they are. And so, as we wrap up our deep dive into Voem,
Yeah.
it's clear that this is an organization that's not content with the status quo.
Hmm.
They're constantly evolving, innovating, and pushing boundaries to create a more inclusive, vibrant, and sustainable future.
It's been such an inspiring journey. We've seen how they've transformed from this traditional federation
Mhm.
into this dynamic hybrid organization.
Mm,
We've seen how they're tackling these complex societal challenges head on.
absolutely.
And we've seen how they're using technology and creativity to connect with people
Hmm.
in new and meaningful ways.
And their story really offers us a glimpse
Yeah.
into a future
Yes.
where organizations like Voem are not the exception, but the rule.
Imagine.
Imagine a world where inclusivity,
Yes.
innovation, and a deep understanding of societal needs
Mhm.
are at the forefront of every organization's mission.
It's a powerful vision. And what I find so inspiring is that Voem isn't just dreaming about this future. They're actively building it,
Yeah.
step by step, initiative by initiative.
They are, and their journey is an invitation to all of us to consider how we can contribute
Hmm.
to creating a world where organizations like Voem are not just a possibility, but a reality.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Voem. We hope you found it as insightful and thought-provoking as we have.